and welcome to Cannesversations. I'm your host, Stephanie Beach, and I am with Sam Garfield from Adobe. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are here live from Possible in Miami on this beautiful terrace. Day 2. How's it going?
It's great. I've been coming to Possible for 3 years now, and to see the growth of the conferences, I feel like it doubles in size
every year. Yeah, I know. So really I think we were just talking a little bit before about how many people are actually here. It doesn't feel it though.
No, because of the expanded space, I think really helped spread some of the people out. So.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really nice, but the energy is really there. So I have some good questions for you. We're going to dive right into it.
Okay.
What percentage of traffic do you think isn't human?
So we're definitely seeing a movement away from this general search traffic coming instead from LLMs. And it's something that we're helping a lot of brands with at Adobe is how do they show up, or how do you optimize when you're getting referral traffic from LLMs? I don't know the percentages on human versus not human. It's a great question.
Well, opinion.
I could tell you 200, there's been a 200% increase in referral traffic coming from LLMs to media entertainment companies that I work with. So
that's huge.
We as a company that focuses on brands and how they show up, the brand visibility is something that's on the top of every CMO's mind.
Yeah. And I'm sure with the majority of panels talking about AI and LLMs and all of that, it's such a relevant question. So where do you worry about wasting spend without knowing it? You work with a lot of brands. I'm sure you're advising them on a lot of different things. Yeah. Where do you worry that they're wasting spend that you don't know?
I think there's been a lot of focus and attention over the last 5 to 10 years on the data side of the house. And I think we're getting that data foundation in place. But I think the creative side is where there's still a lot of efficiency gains that could be made. And especially with a lot of the AI capabilities, having asset variations and more personalized content is, I think, an area that today is probably there's probably waste built into that whole creative supply chain that we're helping a lot of brands become more efficient in that area. So.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me. The whole creative aspect of it and so many moving parts that go into it, and you have to kind of find the right balance.
Yes.
If you had full visibility into human versus non-human traffic, what would you change first?
Well, I think a lot of the content today on websites and sites has to be restructured. Going back to this LLM optimization question that we're talking about, the LLMs are picking up like content that is more authoritative, FAQs, things that describe your product in a little bit more detail, whereas in the old world, it was okay if you just had like one sentence and that got picked up in search. So I think there's a lot of work that is going to have to be done to kind of how you show up as a brand on your site and deepen that relationship with the customer and also with the LLMs that are picking up that information. If somebody's asking, like, what's a show? Can you recommend the show to me tonight with X, X, Y, or Z actor or whatever it is? You want to show up in that LLM.
Yeah, it's a bit more strategic when you think about it, and the way that you kind of put it forth. Like you said, it's not just one line or figuring out how to ensure that there's certain words included in something. Yes. It's really, about the relevancy and what is being fed into that for it to come out.
And some of the interesting findings that I've learned over the last 6 months in working with customers around this is there's general information and then there's really detailed specific product information that you're talking about. And those are different queries. So just making up an example, somebody comes in and is asking about GLP-1 drugs, and that they'll give like a very general overview, but somebody might want to know a specific brand and dig in, and then you need that information. So it's very interesting how this is evolving and how brands are going to have to show up in this space.
It is. It's very interesting to me because there's so much that we're leaning into with AI and LLMs, which is amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, for the brands, when you think about it, what's happening in our industry, are they losing eyeballs? Are they gaining eyeballs? Like, what's happening here? How does your strategy change if the consumer isn't always human?
So I think they're part of the new world that we're trying to figure out is if it's an agent, you're gonna not only be servicing humans, you're gonna be servicing agents or digital coworkers or however you want to talk about it. Somebody's gonna be digital agent is gonna be working on your behalf and book me travel.
Yeah.
And if I'm a travel brand, now I have to interact with that digital agent. So that's a whole separate set of capabilities that is very different than a human. And I think this is the early days, and I think brands are the brands that are advanced are leaning in to try to figure this out, because you know the stats better than I do, but that's probably going to increase exponentially over the next
absolutely.
1-2 years.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it develops. I think it's going to be really telling in terms of how money is going to be spent as well as what's going to be charged for.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a concept where, maybe you have a bot creative versus a human creative, and maybe someone's able to differentiate through the bid stream, and then we can kind of tell, what to show to what and why. Is it going to be something where, I don't know, the brands charge or the LLMs charge the brands to come up in those searches, right? It could go any way.
Yeah. Adobe, we're really focusing on this, and we look at it as it's always going to be a human in the loop. Especially around things like creative.
I think there has to be.
There has to be. Yeah.
Has to be. Human in the loop is definitely, it's the way that I kind of lead my company as well. But it's just, you can't just leave everything to a machine.
Right.
And humans crave humans. The brands, it's products, I get it, but you still have that attachment.
Yeah.
Yes. What's something about your data you wish you understood better right now?
So I'm really leaning into creative intelligence, and that is, I talked a little bit before about how we're able to automate asset variations, and the creative's going to get more personalized, but then you have to measure it. What within that creative is driving the conversion? Is it the tone? Is it the talent? Is it the color? Is it the style? Is it the tone of voice? All those elements can now be measured and brought back and make you smarter the next time around. And it really is sort of the early days also in creative intelligence. But I think that is the next frontier of where people are going to focus, because we've gotten all the data. We know that data is a piece of it, but we know that creative has a real massive effect. Up to 60% of the conversion is based on the creative. And how do we measure that and really start to dig in? It's just getting started.
It is really just getting started. And then there's AI creative. So we want to go down that rabbit hole. We could be here all night. But it's so fascinating to me. I was talking to somebody else earlier, and they had started a new role, and they were like, I've never been in this part, and I'm learning, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, isn't that what we always do in our industry? I love it so much because we're always learning.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's what gets me out of bed every morning is we are on the cutting edge of what are the next capabilities, especially in this AI world. Especially for me at a company like Adobe, who's really leading the way.
Yeah.
For a lot of brands and CMOs.
That's great. Ready for some rapid fire?
Go for it.
Underrated or overrated? AI in marketing.
I think it's underrated. Technology, there's a great Amara's law. It says technology is overrated in the short term and underrated in the long term. And I think we're going to find out that even though we're talking about a lot, the actual capabilities over time were underrated.
Nice. Okay. Safe bet or risky bet? AI agents making purchases.
Well, I think it's a safe bet over time, but I think today it would be a little bit we're just getting started into the conversation we were having about leaning in and learning. I think companies are at the pilot and test phase there.
Awesome. And what is one thing that matters more than people think?
I'll go back to what I've been saying this whole interview, the creative. The creative really matters. And as an industry, we need to really start focusing and leaning in. And now we have the AI capabilities to do it.
Yeah. So you could, even if you don't have the production budget, there's no real excuse anymore.
Yes.
This was so fun.
Yeah.
Thank you
thanks
so
for having me.
much.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you everyone for tuning into this episode of Cannesversations. Thank you, Human, for our sponsor, making this possible. And I hope you all enjoy the next episode. Thank you. Bye.